Oh, love. Romantic, isn't it? When I first was invited to come on the stage and speak about love, my initial reaction was, crap, I guess I'm going to have to find the love of my life in the next 10 days. So my story of love comes from a place of hate and resentment. Didn't see that coming, did you? We're going for a ride. See, I was in the military for 11 years. And during my time in the military, I heard a lot of horrific stories of little boys, little girls getting raped. There's actually a term called bacha-bazi, and this is in Afghanistan, and it refers to basically sex slaves, little slave boys. I remember getting training on schools being burned down, and women getting stoned because they just want to learn math. That made me angry. And I wanted to go kill those bastards. I was driven by my anger, my hatred. In effect, I wanted to kill people. So I applied to the JTF2, which is the Canadian version of the Navy SEALs. And I went to Hell Week. And Hell Week is a 7-day selection process where they basically take you up to your limit, and then that's your baseline, the first couple hours of day one, and then they push you past that and see how you handle yourself. 36 hours before Hell Week started, this lucky guy got salmonella poisoning. Yeah, not exactly peak physical condition. Coming out both ends, not exactly a pretty picture. Sorry I had to paint that for you. Got to keep this a little light. So I didn't realize it at the time, but it wound up being a huge blessing in disguise. So who here has been on, they've been going on this path in life, and they're just strutting along, think they got, things handled, and then life comes up to them and just, whoop-boo, kicks you right in the groin, and says, what are you doing? You're going that way. Get out of here. Gives a little pat on the butt. You're trying to recoup. That was me. I was trying to figure out, do I really want to do this? Do I want to join the JTF2? 99% of me was yes. 1% was hell no. But I had no idea what that 1% was. It was like I was in a room, like a pitch black room. And then someone got the door closed, and then someone turns on a light in a different room, and then there's this tiny little sliver of light that's poking through the darkness. You can't ignore it. 99% darkness, 1% light. You cannot ignore it. I didn't know what that 1% was. I eventually figured it out, and I'm going to share with you what that was in a couple of minutes. While I was in the military, I heard horror story after horror story of women cheating on their husbands while they're overseas getting shot at. And then or on exercise. And they would come back and they would find their children gone and the furniture gone, and now their pension is going to be taken away from them. So I saw women destroy a lot of men's lives. When I was growing up, the women that I found really attractive would pick on me. So as I grew up, I had this dichotomous relationship to women. On one hand, I hated you. On the other hand, you're kind of pretty. I felt like a goof around you because I wanted you. Partially because, well, I was a young guy, and young guys want to do sexual things with the ladies. Also because I'm a human being and I wanted connection. But also, it was there, I had this need for approval and validation from women. And that created a neediness in me. And then when you're needy, you push people away. So I'd go and try to talk to women and get my needs met, but I would be super needy, and then I would push them away. Then I'd be lonely, which would then feed into this anger, and then the resentment, and then to neediness, and to loneliness. It was just this crazy cycle of despair. And then because I heard these stories and saw men attempt and sometimes successfully commit suicide because of broken marriages. And then online, if you click on content, I'm sure you know this already on social media, if you click on articles, social media and the internet will send you more articles that are just like that one. So I was finding all this evidence to hate women. So I had developed some nasty beliefs about women. I cultivated a cognitive bias that women are crazy, they were mean, they were cold, heartless, teases. I believed that they would never respect or love me. I believed that I wasn't even worthy of love. I didn't understand this at the time. It was just a place that I was operating from. Not exactly a healthy place to come from, right? Screw you, you bitch. Why don't you love me? Not the best pickup line. Needs some tweaking. So I had this pattern, right? I don't know how to love myself. So instead, I'm going to love you really hard, and then you can love me really hard. But I don't know how to do that, right? So I'm just going to put all the responsibility of loving me onto you. But I don't know what's going on right now, so I'm not going to tell this to you. I'm just going to expect you to love me really hard. So I'm going to love you really hard and then expect you to love me back. And if you don't, then I'm going to throw a temper tantrum. Let's go get a drink, shall we? Yeah, so I didn't believe that I deserved love, but I wanted it. And I wanted you, women. And because I want you, I'm going to pursue you. But because I'm operating from this place that I don't deserve love, I'm only going to pursue, I'm only going to be attracted to, unconsciously, I don't know this is happening, right? And I'm only going to focus on women that are going to validate that belief system that they're going to hurt me, disrespect me, and not love me. And because of this deep-seated bias that I had, I'd go and engage with women from this place that, oh, you're just going to hurt me, come in with a little chip on my shoulder, and then obviously I'm going to attract the crazies, because I was being crazy. And then the good women avoided me like the plague, or they'd tell me to screw off, rightfully so. But then, obviously, that made me believe, oh yeah, see, I told you, women aren't going to like me. I told you. No, I was just being a jerk. I just didn't know it. And it wasn't until I had a conversation with my mom that I realized, oh, I'm the common denominator here. Shit. Sure, there were some women that had treated me really poorly and unsolicited. And yes, there are some nasty women that are out there. But when I took a step back, I realized that I was only seeing a part of the picture, a small part of the picture. And I was able to see all of these amazing women that are in my life that I just couldn't see before because I was just too focused on my pain. Clearly, I was the source. So how does this relate to my application to the JTF2? Well, I realized that 1%, I realized that if I joined the JTF2, that I'd have to be willing to go overseas and kill people and cause suffering. There are people overseas that are trying to kill other people because those people don't have the same belief systems. So instead, with me, with my belief system, I'm going to come in and kill them. I'm literally becoming the very thing that I hate and despise. So I could either add into that hate and create more of it, or I could do something completely different. And if we all did that, then what are we fighting for? So I decided to leave the military. I still believe that we need the military. I don't see any reason to justify that, but I decided for myself that I wanted to represent more of what I wanted to see in the world. I could either add to the hate, or I could add more love. So how does this relate to relationships? That's the same thing. I had to become what I wanted to see in my relationships. I wanted to be treated like a king, so I had to become a king. Not quite there yet. I think I'm on my way. I wanted to be understood, so I had to put in effort to understand. I wanted to be loved without expectation. It's different from conditional love, but I wanted to be loved without expectation, so I had to love without expectation. I wanted to be respected, so I had to show respect, and also respect myself. and open myself up to the recognition that, wow, you know what? I do deserve love. Awesome. So love for me really came down to a choice. I could choose to focus on the evidence that women are crazy and evil and then get all mad and angry and then go and add more of this darkness into the world. Or I could choose to focus on all the amazing evidence that proves that women are amazing and incredible and beautiful, and focus on the evidence that I deserve love and that there's all of this love all around me that I just didn't recognize it was there the whole time. And so I truly believe that people are more good than we are bad, even if it's only 51%. But if I'm too caught up in my pain, I'm only going to be able to see and focus on that darkness. And I'm going to defend that belief system vehemently. So it really came down to me recognizing my part in it all and to choose love, to let it in and then put it out there. That doesn't mean that the darkness doesn't exist. It simply means that when I make this choice, then instead of me becoming that darkness, I become the light that pierces through it. That's my story. Thank you very much.
Ryan Thomas.